Signs protesting the New Vistas project line the roads leading to the birthplace of LDS Church founder Joseph Smith. A foundation set up by Provo multimillionaire David Hall has bought or is buying parcels totaling 2,000 acres close to the historical site. One resident had a message for Hall.
Go back to Utah.
Back in Provo, 200 architects, engineers, and designers are working to make Hall's vision a reality. He set up 25 companies to design marketable spin-off products. In the future, he says, we'll need moving walls and floors as part of our daily routine.
And then you have these floors coming up, and your couch or your bed might be in here.
Little robots would scuttle around, moving your furniture into place.
So that you don't have to spend a lot of time moving the furniture yourself.
His key idea will transform our living space several times a day.
So this is your floor that's...
Because each of us will have only 200 square feet, less than the average hotel room.
You can make it a bedroom or you can make it a living room.
Hall envisions communities of up to 20,000 residents, with 2/3 of the land left as green space. 50 communities would be bunched in cities of 1 million people, the density designed to reduce impacts on land and resources.
If this works, 15 billion people will be able to live sustainably on 20% of the land that we're currently consuming.
Come on.
In this rural slice of Vermont, Hall's scheme has landed like a dead cow falling out of the sky.
I don't think it's such a great idea. I think my biggest concern is the scale.
Hall's foundation has bought about 1,200 acres. His goal is 5,000 acres for one of his colossal complexes.
You know, our lives as we know it, or as my husband's family's known it for the last 100 years, wouldn't be the same if all those people were just over the hill.
In an area where most people choose to live because of its rural character, where much of what you see looks like a watercolor painting, where towns are older than our nation, the city of the future seems to some a bit crazy.
It's certainly a pipe dream. It's hard to imagine that it could ever come to fruition.
Vermonters have boiled up in protest.
Unsuitable.
Creating a life-size effigy of David Hall. They're just not ready for New Vistas.
I'm not sure people from anywhere are ready for it.
In the local co-op, they talk about the threat to their way of life.
If you come in from the outside and try to change it, there's going to be a lot of resistance to that.
At the farmers market, you can hear occasional positive comments about the New Vistas philosophy of each person consuming fewer resources. But 20,000 in one place?
If it was smaller scale, good idea. Otherwise, bad idea.
It's not just the scale of the project that's causing the uproar here in Vermont, although that is the biggest single issue, but there's also an undercurrent of skepticism, even suspicion, about the social organization of the people who would live there. Hall says New Vistas communities would not be limited by religion, but he says his concept came from documents he attributes to Joseph Smith's revelation.
It says that all men are supposed to live there, not just Mormons, right?
Each community would be run by husband and wife couples in accordance with local laws. Each resident would contribute all their net worth to a corporate trust that would operate businesses on site.
Your dividends are according to what your contribution is.
I think he's looking for a utopia down the road that I just can't see happening.
I think we have to live in a similar way because we need to consume 1/10 what we're currently consuming.
Hall says it will be a generation or two before anything actually gets built in Vermont. In Provo, maybe sooner. He's bought up dozens of homes, but he's facing fierce opposition there, too.
David's vision is certainly possible within the world, but not in this neighborhood.
But Hall is convinced the world will eventually embrace his vision, if it works.
You can't do things tomorrow. You have to think very long term.
John Hollenhorst, KSL 5 News, near Sharon, Vermont.